In many marriages today, the love is still alive. It's just lost in translation. One partner might feel like they're giving everything, working long hours, providing for the family, staying loyal, while the other feels emotionally abandoned. It's a heartbreaking disconnect, not because there's no love, but because that love isn't being communicated in a way the other person understands. You see, just like languages around the world, English, Spanish, Urdu, Japanese, love has its own dialects. When one speaks in acts of service and the other longs for words of affirmation, it can feel like shouting across a canyon. The bridge is there, it just needs to be walked on with understanding and intention. We all give and receive love differently, but we assume others feel loved the same way we do. That assumption becomes dangerous when left unchecked. A wife might feel unloved because her husband doesn't compliment her anymore, even though he faithfully fixes the car, pays the bills, and works overtime. A husband might feel ignored because his wife never wants to spend time with him, even though she constantly cleans the house, folds his clothes, and makes his favorite meals. Both are loving in the way they understand love, but neither feels seen. It's not the absence of love that hurts most, it's the absence of felt love. George Bernard Shaw once said, "The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place." That couldn't be truer in relationships. Most people are communicating, they're just not connecting. They think love is present, but it isn't received. Like a radio that's turned to the wrong frequency, the message is being broadcast, but it's just static to the listener. This leads to resentment, confusion, and a sense of loneliness, all while living under the same roof. But here's the good news: love is still there. It doesn't need to be created from scratch, it needs to be rerouted. Once couples learn to speak each other's love language, they don't have to try harder, they just have to try differently. That difference changes everything. It softens hearts. It revives intimacy. It restores peace. The five love languages, a universal framework. Love is not one size fits all. It's not always flowers or hugs or poetry. It's not always doing the dishes or saying I love you. Love wears different clothes in different hearts. That's why so many couples feel disconnected even though they're trying so hard, because they're expressing love in their own language, not the language their partner understands. Imagine trying to express deep emotion to someone who doesn't speak your tongue. You could be screaming, "I adore you" in French, but if your partner only speaks Japanese, all they hear is noise. That's what happens in marriages every day. And that's why understanding the five love languages is so powerful. It gives you the tools to love more clearly, more deeply, and more effectively. The first love language is words of affirmation. Some people feel most loved when they hear encouraging words. A simple, "You're amazing," or "I'm so proud of you," can light up their soul like sunshine. It's not about flattery, it's about genuine, heartfelt appreciation. For them, silence isn't peaceful, it's painful. If you don't say it, they don't feel it. Mother Teresa once said, "Kind words can be short and easy to speak, but their echoes are truly endless." For those who speak this love language, those echoes are the melody of their soul. Then comes acts of service. For others, love isn't spoken, it's shown. It's in taking out the trash, making the bed, or picking up medicine when they're sick. It's the unspoken message: "You matter to me enough to act." People who value this language often say, "Don't tell me you love me, show me." And when their partner follows through on a promise or helps without being asked, their heart swells with warmth. David Wilkerson said, "Love is not only something you feel, it is something you do." For them, love is in the doing. Next is receiving gifts. Many misunderstand this as materialism, but it's not about price, it's about thought. It's about the meaning behind the gesture. A handmade card, a favorite snack, or a surprise coffee says, "I thought of you." It's a physical reminder that they are valued and remembered. Richard Bach once said, "Every gift from a friend is a wish for your happiness." In this love language, that wish is wrapped in ribbon and memory. The fourth language is quality time. This is about presence, undivided, undistracted presence. Not scrolling your phone while sitting together, not watching TV in the same room without speaking, but real, intentional time spent listening, talking, walking, laughing, or simply being together. Simone Weil said, "Attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity." For those who value quality time, your undivided attention is the most romantic gift in the world. And finally, physical touch. For many, touch is the foundation of safety and affection. A hug when they're tired, a kiss goodbye, a hand on their back in the middle of a hard day. These moments say, "I'm here, I care, I'm connected to you." Touch is primal. It's the first language we speak, even as infants. Stephen Gaskin once said, "Touch is the first language we speak." For some, it's the only language that truly reassures them they are loved. Each of these love languages is valid, important, and beautiful. None is better than the other. The magic happens not when we force our own language on someone, but when we choose to learn theirs. Love becomes fluent when we stop demanding to be understood and start choosing to understand. That shift transforms a relationship. It heals the places that feel forgotten. It brings light where distance once grew. It turns routine into romance. And all it takes is willingness. Willingness to see love through the eyes of the one you care for most. Understanding the 5 love languages is only the beginning. The true transformation begins when you identify which one speaks to your heart and which one speaks to your partner's. Most of us walk through life expecting others to love us the way we love. But that's the trap. Love is not about projection. It's about perception. It's not about giving what feels right to you. It's about offering what feels real to them. That's where deep connection is born, not in assuming, but in asking, not in reacting, but in reflecting. So how do you find your love language? Start by asking yourself a few honest questions. What makes you feel truly loved? Not just liked, not just appreciated, but deeply seen and cherished. Is it when someone gives you compliments? Is it when someone helps you with a task you hate doing? Do you feel valued when someone surprises you with a thoughtful gift? Or when someone turns off their phone and gives you their full attention? Or maybe when your partner hugs you after a long day and says nothing at all. Your heart knows the answer. You just have to listen. Think about your childhood too. Often, the way we felt loved as children becomes the language we carry into adulthood. If your parents often told you, "I'm proud of you," and it made your day, words may be your primary language. If they were always cooking your favorite meals or doing small things to make your life easier, acts of service might resonate with you now. Love leaves fingerprints in our past. We just need to trace them. But here's where many couples struggle. They only discover their love language and stop there. Real intimacy begins when you take the time to discover your partner's. That means asking, observing, and listening without judgment. What do they complain about most? "You never say you love me. You don't help me around the house. We don't spend time together anymore." Complaints are clues to unmet needs. They reveal what your partner wishes they could feel, and probably once did. Also notice what they do for you most often. People tend to give love in the way they wish to receive it. If your spouse always buys you little things when you're feeling down, gift giving might be their language. If they're constantly doing things for you, cleaning your car, fixing things, making meals, chances are they crave acts of service in return. If they reach for your hand in public or snuggle close during a movie, physical touch might be their deepest comfort. Every action speaks a message, and love is always speaking if we choose to listen. One powerful moment in a relationship is when one partner turns to the other and says, "What makes you feel most loved by me?" It's a vulnerable question, but it opens the door to incredible honesty. It invites emotional clarity. It says, "I want to love you better, not just in my way, but in your way." That's not weakness. That's wisdom. That's maturity. That's love with ears, with eyes, and with intention. The truth is, many people aren't falling out of love. They're just not feeling it anymore. Because no matter how sincere your love is, if it's not expressed in the right language, it remains invisible. It's like writing a beautiful poem in a language your spouse doesn't read. It may be touching, it may be beautiful, but it will never reach them. The love is there, but the connection is lost. But there's hope, always hope. When we take the time to learn each other's language, the walls begin to fall. The distance begins to shrink. Misunderstandings give way to empathy. You stop assuming the worst and start believing the best. And in that shift, hearts begin to heal. Trust begins to rebuild. Romance finds its way back home, all because you took the time to say, "Teach me how to love you," in your language, in your way, every day. In a world full of distractions, obligations, and routines, love often takes the back seat to convenience. We fall into patterns. We say, "I love you," in autopilot. We do the things we think are enough, without pausing to ask, "Is my partner actually feeling loved?" We check the boxes, pay the bills, show up for dinner, ask how the day went, but deep down, we know something is missing. The closeness isn't there. The laughter isn't as loud. The hugs feel more like habit than warmth. The love is still present, but the connection feels thin. That's why love languages matter. Because love isn't just about being present, it's about being intentional. You can live with someone, sleep beside them every night, raise kids together, and still feel like emotional strangers. You can do everything for your partner, but if it's not in the language their heart understands, they will still feel alone. And loneliness in marriage is a quiet kind of grief. It doesn't scream, it just fades, day by day, week by week, until one morning someone wakes up and says, "I don't feel close to you anymore." And it's not because the love died, it's because it wasn't fed. So many relationships don't fail from catastrophe. They fail from neglect, from a slow erosion of emotional intimacy, from assumptions, from busyness, from forgetting to ask, "How can I love you better?" That's the danger of convenience. We settle into our version of love, the way we prefer to give it, and forget that the whole purpose of love is to reach the other person, not just express ourselves. Love is not self-centered. It's other-centered. When we speak our partner's love language, we tell them, "You matter to me, and I'm willing to learn you." Not fix you, not tolerate you, but learn you. That's the difference between a roommate and a soulmate. A roommate shares space. A soulmate shares language, effort, and intention. It's not about doing big dramatic things. It's about doing small things that speak volumes in the right dialect. Let's be honest. It's easier to love in the way that's most comfortable to us. If your love language is acts of service, it's easy to express love by washing the car or cleaning the kitchen. But if your partner's love language is quality time, and they've been waiting all day just to have one slow, quiet conversation with you, your effort, though sincere, may still miss the mark. That's not because you didn't try, it's because you didn't try in their direction. Lao Tzu once said, "To be loved deeply by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage." Loving in another person's language takes courage. It means you're willing to move out of your comfort zone. It means you're willing to do things you may not naturally think of, because you want your partner to feel seen, not just served. It means putting your ego aside and saying, "My way isn't the only way. I want to love you well, not just love you my way." When you get this right, when you begin to speak love in your partner's language, something magical happens. Walls fall, eyes soften, conversations go deeper, conflicts become easier to resolve because both hearts feel safe, not threatened. It's not about perfect relationships. It's about connected ones, where love is a bridge, not a guessing game, where emotional intimacy becomes the norm, not the exception. And here's the truth. This matters not just for romance, it matters for peace, for the kind of quiet confidence that comes from knowing I am loved and I am loving in return. When both partners feel emotionally full, the relationship becomes a wellspring of strength, not a battlefield of unmet needs. When you love each other with intention, you build something that's not only beautiful, but unbreakable, not because it's flawless, but because it's fluent. Understanding love languages is not meant to be just an interesting idea. It's meant to be a turning point, a moment where you stop assuming, stop guessing, and start doing. Not someday, not when the timing feels perfect, but today, right now. Because love doesn't grow on theory. It grows in practice, in daily, conscious choices, in soft words, small gestures, silent sacrifices, in the decision to love on purpose. So, how do you begin? You don't need a full-blown counseling session or a grand weekend retreat. You need a heart that's ready to learn. And it can start with a single question, one that many couples have never asked each other directly. What makes you feel most loved by me? Let that question sit for a moment. Let it open a door. Because when your partner answers, they're not just giving you information. They're giving you access to their heart. And when someone trusts you enough to tell you what touches them deeply, you have a sacred responsibility to listen. Once you've identified each other's love language, the next step is intentional action. If their language is words of affirmation, begin your day with a kind message or compliment. Text them in the middle of the day just to say, "You're doing great and I believe in you." If their language is acts of service, don't just talk, take action. Fold the laundry without being asked. Fill up the car with gas before they notice it's low. Let your effort speak louder than any sentence ever could. If their language is receiving gifts, remember, it's not about the price tag. It's about the meaning. Bring them their favorite snack when you come home. Leave a note on the bathroom mirror. Wrap up something small just because you thought of them. These gestures become treasures in the mind of someone who values symbolic expressions. If their language is quality time, put your phone away, turn off the TV, look into their eyes, ask questions that matter, and listen with your full presence. Your time is the most precious gift you can offer. Give it like it's gold. And if their language is physical touch, make an effort to connect physically every day. Hold hands while walking. Give a back rub when they're tired. Sit closer than usual on the couch. These moments, though quiet, are loud to the person who feels love through touch. For them, your embrace is more healing than 1,000 words. It's not about passion, it's about presence. You may feel awkward at first. You may forget. You may try something that doesn't land quite right. That's okay. Learning to love in a new language takes patience. You wouldn't expect to master French or Spanish overnight. Love works the same way. The beauty is in the trying. The effort, even when imperfect, tells your partner you are worth learning. And in that message lies 1,000 silent I love yous. Make it a habit. Set a daily intention. One small act every single day in your partner's love language. Over time, this builds emotional security. It fills the invisible tank inside their heart. And when that tank is full, they love you more freely in return. You create a cycle of giving, not a cycle of surviving. The relationship becomes a source of life, not stress. You don't need to wait for an anniversary. You don't need a crisis to start caring more. You just need today. Today is enough. Today is powerful, because love lived today is always better than love planned for tomorrow. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for consistency. Show up, even in small ways, especially in small ways, because little things done with great love change everything. Every one of us walks around carrying an invisible emotional tank. When that tank is full, we feel secure, we feel appreciated, we feel valued, wanted, and emotionally safe. But when that tank is empty or slowly leaking over time, even the smallest misunderstandings feel like betrayals. Simple arguments feel like personal attacks. And love, though present, feels distant, unreachable, or worse, forgotten. It's not that we've stopped loving. It's that we've stopped filling. And when we fail to fill each other's love tanks, emotional distance becomes a silent house guest, one that stays longer than we ever meant to invite. A full love tank makes a relationship resilient. It makes couples laugh more easily, forgive more quickly, trust more deeply, because when your heart is full, you don't look for threats in every disagreement. You don't take everything personally. You don't wonder, do they still love me after every moment of silence? You know you're loved, and that knowledge becomes your anchor, even during the stormiest days. But when the tank is low, everything feels fragile. The smallest things feel like proof that your partner doesn't care. And soon, love becomes something you second guess instead of something you stand on. That's why the love languages matter so deeply. Because they're not just cute ideas, they are fuel. Each expression in your partner's love language is like pouring fresh energy into that emotional tank. When you speak their language fluently, you don't just avoid conflict, you prevent it. You don't just fix damage, you create protection. A full tank is like armor for the heart. It allows the relationship to breathe, to grow, to withstand the pressures of life without cracking. Think of it this way. Imagine going days, weeks, even months without anyone saying, "I love you," in a way that actually reaches you. How would your heart feel? Dry, dull, disconnected. That's the experience many people are living through right now, often without realizing it. They're not starving for love, they're starving for love that speaks their emotional dialect. And the moment that language returns, the moment they feel seen again, it's like rain on dry soil. Something begins to bloom again. Children too have love tanks, and so do parents, friends, and co-workers. But in marriage, that tank is sacred because your partner is the person you wake up beside, the one who hears your fears, your dreams, your exhaustion. They are your emotional home. And when that home feels cold, it impacts every other area of life. But when that home feels warm, when the tank is consistently filled, your entire emotional world becomes more peaceful, more joyful, more alive. So, how do you know when your partner's love tank is running low? Look for the signals: increased irritation over small things, withdrawal, lack of enthusiasm, less physical closeness, fewer smiles. These are not attacks, they're signals. They're quiet cries for reconnection. And if you listen closely enough, you'll hear the whisper behind the silence: "I need to feel loved again." And that's the beauty of the love language framework. It gives you the map to refill what's been lost. It shows you how to stop pouring from an empty place and how to receive in return. You don't have to guess anymore. You don't have to try harder and still miss. You just have to love smarter, more thoughtfully, more personally. A full love tank doesn't mean everything will be perfect. You'll still have stress, tough days, and miscommunication, but you'll have grace to weather them. You'll have enough emotional reserve to respond gently instead of react harshly. You'll have trust that even in conflict, love remains. And here's the most freeing part. It doesn't take huge, sweeping changes to fill the tank. It takes consistency. A kind word every morning, a surprise gesture once a week, a 30-second hug when they walk through the door. These aren't difficult things, but they make all the difference. Because love isn't sustained by the grand, it's sustained by the daily. There are few things more painful in a relationship than feeling like you're the only one trying, like you're speaking your partner's love language, showing up every day with open hands and a soft heart, but getting little back in return. You begin to wonder, is it me? Have they stopped loving me? Am I wasting my effort? And soon the pain of unreciprocated love turns into silence, then bitterness, then emotional walls. Not because you want to stop loving, but because it hurts too much to keep pouring from an empty cup. If this is where you are not alone. Many husbands and wives find themselves in seasons where love feels one-sided, where one partner is trying to grow the connection and the other seems checked out. It could be caused by stress, work, unresolved hurt, emotional fatigue, or even their own wounded past. Sometimes people don't withhold love because they don't care. They withhold love because they've never learned how to give it, or because they themselves are emotionally empty, hurting, numb. This is where wisdom and patience become essential. When love feels one-sided, your first response may be to stop trying, to protect yourself, to shut down emotionally so it hurts less. And while that reaction is human, it rarely brings healing. The better path, though harder, is to communicate with vulnerability, not accusation. Instead of saying, "You never love me," try saying, "Lately, I've been feeling disconnected, and I really miss feeling close to you." This shifts the energy from blame to invitation. It opens a door rather than building a wall. Sometimes your partner won't realize they've been distant until you gently bring it to light. Life gets loud. Responsibilities pile up. And love, if not guarded, can quietly slip into the background. But when one person begins to love intentionally and consistently, even when it's not returned right away, it creates space for reflection. It softens the emotional climate. It shows, "I'm not here to punish you. I'm here to reconnect with you." That kind of love, patient, gentle, humble, has power. It may not produce instant change, but it creates possibility. Still, it's important to know the difference between a dry season and a destructive pattern. If your efforts to connect are met with chronic emotional neglect, manipulation, or cruelty, that's a different conversation. Love should be mutual. Love should be safe. And sometimes it requires a counselor or a trusted guide to help both partners find their way back to emotional balance. You are not called to carry the relationship alone indefinitely. But for many, one partner's decision to keep loving in healthy ways becomes the very thing that inspires change in the other. Keep this truth close to your heart. Love given is never wasted. Even if it doesn't return the way you expected, it shapes you, it grows your emotional maturity, it aligns you with your values, and it invites your partner to meet you in a more honest and tender space. Give your best, not for approval, but because that's who you are. And while you wait for reciprocation, be kind to yourself too. Don't forget to speak your own love language. Surround yourself with encouragement, connection, and joy from other areas of your life. A healthy marriage begins with two whole people, and that includes you. Sometimes the most powerful words you can say to your partner are not, "I love you," but "I'm here, and I still believe in us." That faith, even in hard seasons, becomes the foundation on which restoration can begin. No love language works perfectly in every moment, but over time, love that is rooted in patience, truth, and hope has the power to melt even the coldest silences. Love is not a mystery reserved for the lucky. It's not something that just clicks for a chosen few. Love is a language, and like any language, it can be learned, practiced, and eventually mastered. It takes patience. It takes listening. It takes the humility to admit we don't know it all, and the courage to keep showing up anyway. Because when you love someone, you don't just speak to be heard, you speak to be understood. The beauty of learning your partner's love language is that it transforms your relationship from survival into sanctuary. It turns a house into a home. It turns routine into romance. It's not about being perfect every day. It's about being present, being intentional, being willing. And in a world that is often loud, fast, and disconnected, that willingness is a rare and powerful gift. When you choose to love someone in their language, you're saying, "I see you. I know what touches your heart, and I care enough to do it your way." That kind of love goes beyond surface feelings. It reaches the soul. It tells your spouse, "You don't have to earn my love. I give it because you matter to me." And slowly, with each spoken word, with each quiet gesture, with each consistent act, a bond is built that is not easily broken. This kind of love doesn't just hold up in the good times, it holds strong in the storms. When stress comes, when miscommunication happens, when life feels heavy, couples who've learned each other's language have a bridge to walk across. They don't stand on opposite sides wondering what went wrong. They meet in the middle with empathy and grace, because they've practiced understanding when it was easy, and now they're able to live it when it's hard. And here's something beautiful. You never stop growing in love. Even after years, decades, a lifetime, there's always something new to learn about the person you've chosen. And that's the joy of it. You're not just sharing life. You're continually discovering each other, like reading your favorite book again and again and noticing something new every time. Love never grows old when you're committed to speaking it fluently. So don't wait for the perfect moment to begin. Don't wait for them to change first. Don't wait until everything is easy. Start now. Start where you are with what you know. Ask the questions. Listen to the answers. Make the effort, because love that is learned, love that is chosen, is love that lasts. Love is not passive. It is active. It is alive. And like any language, the more you use it, the more fluent you become. And as you become fluent in each other's hearts, you'll find something sacred growing between you. Not just affection, not just attraction, but intimacy, safety, and connection that can weather any season. Love is a language worth mastering, because in the end, it's not how much we say, "I love you," it's how well we say it, in the way that matters most to the one we love.